shouldn't be proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country.
Welcome back to Cheverisimo, where I react to anything and everything on the internet. Let's get right to it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Today's video is a super hot topic right now in the United States. It's Donald Trump removing the protective status of the Somali community, and everyone has something to say. This woman here is someone who grew up there. Speaks English as a native language. Only saw a bit of it. And the other two videos is one of a white American, and the other one is a black American. I think she's African American. I'm not sure, but I didn't watch anything yet. I want to get a live reaction. Let's get right into it.
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from like a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, go back to your country. But the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And
so that's something that I want to touch on. If someone, like who looks like her or looks like me, right? If you're a visible minority, you grew up in a Western country. I'm from Canada. She's from the United States. And, your parents or your grandparents came to the country, didn't speak much English, but you grew up there your whole life and you speak English, with a native accent. Would you be considered less Canadian or less American because of your skin color being a bit darker? I mean, again, that's something that I would like you guys out there to think about, right? And do you guys relate to that? Do you think that you have the right to be living in Canada or America if you are visibly from a certain minority group that may not be liked? In this moment right now in the United States, the people getting attacked are the Somali community. So yeah, it must be tough for someone like her, being someone that grew up there her whole life, clearly speaking a native accent, right? And she's being targeted. Let's keep going.
the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids like me with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly. But the reality is we aren't symbols. We aren't some type of ambassador. We are just human beings like everybody else.
All right, so let me share a few, thoughts that I have on the matter, right? I feel like every community that comes to the US or Canada, since we're all like, this is a nation of immigrants, right? Canada, America, and there are certain groups, right, who come in, they settle down, and then you're gonna have bad apples, right? No matter what nationality, ethnic origin you're from, there's gonna be bad apples, people that do wrong, they may commit crimes, that kind of thing. But you can't just blanket the entire community like that, right? So same thing goes for the Latinos, right? Some people may be in gangs and that kind of thing, but you can't just blanket everyone as being that. That's not the case, because there's a lot of hardworking Latinos in America, Mexicans, all different types of backgrounds, right? You could be from Nicaragua. It doesn't matter where you're from, right? Same thing goes for her. She's from Somalia, and she happens to be someone who's a med student, a really upstanding citizen, right? But there may be someone else that's from her background that may also be doing some sort of crime, that kind of thing. So again, that could also ruin it for her, because one bad apple ruins it for the majority, right? Like, or just even a small percentage, that's just my idea on it. But now we have the white American perspective here. Obviously she doesn't speak for everyone, but she definitely is Caucasian, right? She's white. So let's hear her perspective on it.
you did not know, Somalis are notorious for looting, stealing, their piracy, very well known for. They marry children, they don't have women's rights, women can't vote. And when you import a bunch of them into the middle of Minnesota in our country, they're going to do the same thing. They are going to steal. They are going to, it's so crazy that we've done this. They're not going to assimilate. They are just going to find a stronghold of a shared community of values that they have, Somali values in a Western culture, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to cut off female genitalia because 99% of Somali women have done that, or I guess had that done to them. They are going to steal. Again, what do you think of when you think of Somalia? Piracy. Which is exactly what we are seeing, because in case you did not know, there is currently a massive investigation into this Medicaid fraud scheme amongst the Somali community in our country. They're making fraudulent claims and they are stealing from the taxpayers. They're stealing from our government. And if that wasn't bad enough, it has been reported that we are the largest funder of Al-Shabaab, their terror group back in Somalia. Yeah, they've been defrauding the US government and then sending it to our enemy. And we are at work paying for it. Calling this out, it's not racist, it's not xenophobic, it's not being anti-Somali. It's saying, hey, I actually think Western culture, the freedoms that we have, are superior. I would much rather live in a country where I have a voice, where I can vote, where my genitals aren't removed, where I could wear what I want, practice what religion I want. I think that's a superior way of life. And the people in Somalia do not think that's a superior way of life. They're coming here to change it and expecting anything else from a group of people that have not changed in their home country and then bringing them here and thinking they're going to change here. It's insane. It's insanity.
Okay, look, so this reminds me of here in Canada currently, people have that sentiment, that sort of idea with the South Asian community, Indians more specifically, Punjabis, right? And they think that they come and they just kind of stay in their community, like Brampton, for example. You know, almost everyone else, everyone out there probably knows about that place. And yes, that area is heavily concentrated with the Punjabi, North Indian community. They speak Punjabi there and they feel comfortable, right? It feels like you're in India when you go there, right? Most people feel like that. So I get where, there's that fine line between still maintaining that, those good things from your culture, like the food and the music and that kind of thing, but at the same time still adapting to the culture, adapting to the way of life. There are certain things that we see on social media, of South Asians coming here and not really adapting to the culture, to the Canadian culture. So I guess she's touching on the fact that maybe that community as well too is doing that over there. But I think you should try to learn the language. You should try to, accustom yourself to the culture if you're not born and raised in the States, like the first woman was. But at the same time, like the Italians, for example, like the Portuguese, they still maintain that connection to their roots with the food and the music and the dress or whatever, right? Like people still want to stay connected, right? Even though they've been in the States forever, like Italians have arrived in America like hundreds of years ago, right? Like it's been a while, but they still say I'm Italian, right? Like they still claim that because they're really into their roots. They love their roots. They're proud of it. But at the same time, they're really American. So there's that fine line, right? So that's just my take on it. Let's keep going.
And it's going to be the end of our freedoms. We cannot tolerate a group of people who do not tolerate our freedoms. It's not racist. That's not xenophobic to say. It's the truth, and we better start saying it. And the option of doing nothing about this isn't there. Bye-bye. Thank you, Trump, for doing something about this and kicking them out. They don't belong here. They don't share our values.
Deport, send them all back, strip them of their visas, denaturalize, send them back. Stop letting people into this country that hates America.
Denaturalize is a wild statement. That is crazy.
Just enough already. President Trump, we need you to start taking this very seriously. We know that you're doing your best with the deportation and everything, but something's got to give. You're going to have to really crack down on the radical Muslims and the Muslim Brotherhood. We need you to start really, really taking this seriously and protecting the American people. Deport, denaturalize.
So there seems to be a bit of a lag in this original video. But anyways, look, clearly she's visibly ethnic. She looks like a black woman. She looks kind of like maybe she's from Africa or the West Indies. I'm not sure. But she's speaking about New York. She has a New York accent. I'm just kind of assuming things here, of course. But she is probably from an immigrant background, right? And what if, all of a sudden someone's like, hey, you know what? We don't want someone from the Caribbean here, right? Like, get them out of here, denaturalize them. I don't think she'd be happy with that. Now, again, it's good to be fair and balanced here. If someone that came from, let's say, any given country, right, does a crime, right, or a bunch of them do it, then yes, of course, people that break the law, they have to be dealt with, absolutely. But if you're an upstanding citizen, you go to school, you go to university, you try to accustom yourself to the American or Western way of life, but still maintaining your, cultural roots like any other nationality, anyone does it in the States, right? If you're Mexican, you may be American, but you still have that flavor in the foods that you eat and that kind of thing. The music that you listen to, like the Mexican community in Texas, for example, the Chicanos, right? They're definitely American, but they still have those Mexican roots when it comes to food and like music and that cultural aspect, so to speak. So I think she's super like crazy, like she's just like denaturalized. That's a wild statement.
Guys, with these protests happening in New York City, I have some concerns about the safety of all New Yorkers, especially the Jewish community, because this guy's swearing in is around the corner. And let me tell you something. You have the radical Muslims ready to gear up to start their mess, and I don't see this ending well. And you got Muslims coming in from other states to see this guy swearing in. And I'm talking about the radical Muslims, and we do have Muslim Brotherhood in New York City, particularly in Queens and Brooklyn and parts of the Bronx. President Trump, you need to send in the big guys, because NYPD, I don't think can manage.
Well, she just said she's from the Bronx. She might even be Dominican, right? So imagine someone's like, you know what? Everyone from the Dominican Republic who's been like a citizen should just get out of, America. Yeah, there are going to be people who do commit crime from that, ethnic group or whatever, but you just can't blanket everyone to be like that. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think there's a happy medium, like you can still be from where your parents are from, but still be American, but still speak English, but still like to eat that cuisine that your parents kind of brought over from the, homeland or whatever, right? Like there's a happy medium. Yeah, there are people out there who don't want to assimilate. And again, I understand why certain people can feel the way they do, right? But I think, like I said, there's a happy medium there. You could still be culturally Western, but at the same time still have that connection to your roots. I believe that.
This alone. Deport, denaturalize, and stop letting. You're going to have to vet people that want to come into this country to make sure that they are in support of America and not against America. Stop letting foreign citizens.
Who would want to invite someone to immigrate to their country that does not like the country that they're going to? Obviously, you would expect that if someone's coming from any country out there, they want a better life. They're coming to America, to Canada, to have their kids go to a better school, to get educated, to make more money, to live a better life, right? So, give back and that kind of thing. So that's what's expected. But yeah, if someone's coming over and they hate the country that they're going to, and yes, I've seen stuff like that in the UK and in certain parts of Europe and that, those kind of people. Obviously, I understand why the locals do not like those type of people, because they're not assimilating to the culture. If you're gonna be antisocial, kind of stick to your own completely and not learn the language, that kind of thing, then of course people will feel a certain type of way about that. But if you're able to assimilate, to learn the language, to mix with people, learn from other cultures and that kind of thing, because, America, Canada, it's a melting pot, right? You're supposed to blend and meet people from different cultures. It's pretty common for people to marry, people from other cultures. Like, let's say, for example, you're Chinese, you marry someone who might be Hispanic or whatever, right? It's like, it's natural because you grew up that way. But yeah, if you just come in and you just stick to your own community, you speak your own language, you only hire people from your background, like the previous video I did before, how they were only hiring people from India, then of course people are gonna dislike that, and and you're gonna alienate yourself, right? So it's understandable. You know, you just have to, you got to look at things in a fair and balanced kind of way, you know?
Citizens run for public office. No foreign citizen should hold no type of government position. None. Enough is enough already. We have to start protecting America.
Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Leave your comments in the comment box. I'm sure that everyone's going to have their own opinion. It's a super hot topic. But again, I gave my fair and balanced point of view on the matter. That's it for this video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.